We had been in North Africa for months, but nothing could have prepared us for the relentless heat and endless stretches of sand. The sun blazed down mercilessly, and every step felt like we were sinking deeper into the desert. Our uniforms, once crisp and clean, were now stained with sweat and dust, and our bodies were worn down by the harsh conditions. We were part of the Allied forces, fighting against the Axis powers in a campaign that seemed to drag on forever. The desert was a vast, empty expanse, with no landmarks to guide us and no shelter from the elements. The only sound was the constant whistling of the wind, carrying with it the sting of sand against our skin. Our mission was to push the Axis forces out of North Africa, and the fighting was brutal. The enemy was well prepared, using the terrain to their advantage, and every advance we made was met with fierce resistance. The desert became a battlefield, with both sides digging in and refusing to give an inch. I remember one day in particular, when our unit was ordered to take a hill that was heavily fortified by the enemy. We knew it would be a tough fight, but we had no choice. The order came down, and we moved out, trying to keep low and avoid the enemy's fire. The sand made it difficult to move quickly, and the heat was suffocating. Bullets whizzed past us, kicking up dust as they struck the ground. We pressed on, inch by inch, trying to keep our heads down and our spirits up. The enemy was dug in deep, and their machine guns tore through our ranks, cutting down men all around me. The noise was deafening the roar of gunfire, the explosions of artillery shells, and the shouts of our comrades as they fell. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning fuel. But we kept going, driven by the determination to complete our mission and the belief that we could turn the tide of the war. As we got closer to the enemy position, the fighting intensified. We were met with a hail of bullets, and the ground shook with the impact of grenades. The heat was unbearable, and the sweat poured down our faces, stinging our eyes and making it hard to see. But we fought on, desperate to reach the top of the hill. Finally, after what felt like hours, we made it to the enemy trenches. The fighting was hand to hand, brutal and bloody. We were exhausted, but the adrenaline kept us going. The enemy fought with a ferocity that was terrifying, but we had come too far to turn back. We pushed forward, taking the trench and securing the hill. When it was over, the silence was almost as overwhelming as the noise of battle had been. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the desert. We were too tired to celebrate, too worn out to even think about what we had just been through. All we could do was sit and try to catch our breath, knowing that we had survived another day in this hellish place. As night fell, the temperature dropped, and the desert that had been scorching hot during the day became bitterly cold. We huddled together for warmth, trying to get some rest before the next battle. The stars above us were bright, but they offered little comfort. We knew that the fight was far from over, and that tomorrow would bring more challenges, more losses, and more pain. But despite it all, we held on to the hope that one day this would all be over, and we could go home. Until then, we would keep fighting, keep pushing forward, and keep doing our duty in this unforgiving land.